Hello everyone, my name is Alexander, and in this video I will show you how to complete chapter 5 of the book using Photopea website. If you check our syllabus, we will have 2 lessons dedicated to quick fixes technique, such as correcting red eye, adjusting facial features, blurring a background, creating a panorama, and so on. So the reason why I'm recording that video is that not all functions mentioned in the book, not all tools are available in Photopea. Instead, I will provide you another tools you can use to achieve the same effect. So let's get started. Here I have the Photopea website, which is the free alternative for Photoshop. Over here I have initial files. And the very first project in the book is to correcting the red eye effect. Over here. Luckily we have the same tool in Photopea. And let me just open the file. Zoom in. In the Tools panel, you can select the Red Eye tool. It is exactly the same tool as in Photoshop. Adjust the size of the brush as needed and click. So the red eye effect has been removed. Right, so next thing you need to do is to add curves adjustment layer. We do have curves adjustment layer in Photopea. However, we don't have a white point tool, or we don't have that fingerprint tool which is used in this tutorial. And also curves adjustment layer doesn't work properly in Photopea. For example, if I select white point tool, if I'll try to click somewhere, it won't give me the proper result. Instead, let me just delete this layer. I'm going to duplicate that layer. Then I will need to apply a permanent change to the layer. I go to Image, Adjustments, Curves. Inside this dialog window, white point tool will work. So let me show you. So over here, make sure you click to this white rectangle and then click somewhere to set the colors of that image to white. I will choose the wall on a background. Click it. We have achieved very nice effect. Click OK. And now to reduce intensity of that effect, you can just play with the opacity. Alright, so I can just decrease it a little bit until the colors will look appropriate. Alright, looks good. Once you're satisfied with the result, just go to Image, Layers, Flatten Image to create a single layer. Because the next chapter will be adjusting facial features with Liquify. In Photoshop, we have a special face-aware Liquify mode that allows you to select part of the face and adjust its parameters. As easy as that, because it's used in advanced image recognition algorithms. Alright, so, but in Photopea we don't have that advanced features. Instead, we have to use a regular Liquify filter. And on the left, we have the same tools as in Liquify filter in Photoshop, but without the face-aware Liquify. For example, I can use a bloat tool to make eyes of the model bigger. Right, so I make it a little bit bigger. All right. Then, for example, I can reduce size of her nose. Just a little bit, like that. Maybe shrink it. And make her lips bigger. All right. Maybe work on her cheeks a little bit. Well, you get the idea. I have to do that manually. Alright, once you're satisfied, click OK. And you can compare like before and after. Before and after. Well, pretty nice result considering the free tool. Alright, so next chapter will be blurring a background. Again, to do that, we have to use in Photoshop iris blur, where you can set an area for the blur effect. Again, we don't have that function in Photopea. Instead, we have to use another tools available. So let me just open that document over here. First thing we need to do is to make this layer smart object. Okay, so I convert this layer to the smart object, which means I will be able to apply all filter non-destructively. So I go to filter and blur, and let's select simplest blur that's possible is Gaussian blur. So let's click that and set the blur radius to about 7 or 8ish, something like that. Click OK, and now we have a composite object. You can see that we can enable or disable filters. And we also have a filter layer mask, which means if I would like to achieve the same effect as in Photoshop, I need to select a gradient tool over here. Okay, gradient tool, make sure the radial type is selected. And then I just need to draw a circle from the center of the bird outside. Okay, and that will create a shape like this. So over here, the filter won't take an effect, but it will take an effect outside. All right, so, and here's the result. You can check it out. So this is without the filter, and this is with the filter. Again, we achieved almost identical effect as in Photoshop, but with using another tools. All right, let's move next. Next chapter will be about creating a panorama. In Photoshop, we have something called photo merge. If you go to File, Automate, then select photo merge. You can browse for images and just Photoshop will stack them all together for you. And it will take just a matter of seconds to do that. You just click that, click OK, OK, and Photoshop will analyze each layer and stack them all together, and will give you a nice image on the output. Again, we don't have that tool in Photopea. Instead, you'll need to do it manually, and I think you may get even better results. So let's open the very first image. I'll call it just 1. Now I need to change the canvas size to make room for all images. So it's going to be with about 5000 pixels. Click OK. Let's zoom it out. And then let's place each photo on a new layer. Okay. Skyline 3. By the way, you can place images by drag and dropping, but in this case you have to rasterize objects because we'll work with pixels. Alright, so now these layers are smart objects. We need to right click and rasterize each of them. Rasterize, rasterize, rasterize. Okay, this one is already rasterized. So I'm doing that because I need to work with pixels later. The technique I'm going to use is called image stacking, which means I need to overlap these two central images. I usually start from the center. So now I need to align images roughly to make sure main elements on the pictures are located in the same positions. And then I go to Edit and Auto Align. Alright, so Photopea will do Auto Align for us. And the thing is, can you see this line over here? We can get rid of it by doing Auto Blend. So we Auto Align them and go to Edit, Auto Blend. That will smoothen out colors and will make a nice transition. Alright, so I need to repeat that procedure with the rest of the two photos. For example, I need to roughly align the skyline 4 over here, for example, up to this boat, right? like that. And again, I need to select two photos, edit, auto align, edit, auto blend. Okay, looks nicely. And finally, I need to adjust the very last image. So I will move it on the top just to see what happens. And I think I'm going to align this tower. It's somewhere over here. You don't have to be precise. Select both layers, edit, auto align. Perfect. Edit, auto blend. Nice, so I have a very nice effect. As you can see, we have fisheye effect, really noticeable. So to reduce that, I need to go to filter, lens correction, and adjust amount so that the handle over here, the fence, will be straight. Okay, something like that. Also, I can play with the scale parameter, but I think it is good enough. Okay, let's click OK. Now I would like to crop the area to remove this area below the panorama. Okay, so click OK. And the final step will be to reconstruct that area of the sky. And we can do that using content-aware fill. So actually we use this same feature in Photoshop, but we can apply that during the cropping. So let's go back to Photopea. First I need to select this area and go to Edit, Fill, and make sure you select Content Aware and click OK. Alright, looks very nice, but can you see this very tiny line of the transparent pixels? To fix that, I need to go to Select, Modify, Expand, and select something about 10-ish pixels, and that will create an overlap with the existing image, right? So let's repeat the effect. Edit, Fill, Content Aware Fill, click OK. Alright, looks very good. You see, this is the result in Photoshop, and this is the result in Photopea. Well, I believe this is a pretty good result for the free tool. Next chapter is correcting image distortion. We already did something like that with the Panorama, but let's do that for the image from the book. And here's the column start, and luckily we have exactly the same feature in Photopea. So let's go just to filter, lens correction, and we can adjust amount and get very nice result, as this image wasn't created using fisheye effect. Okay, here you go, very simple. Let's proceed to the next one. The next project is extending depth of field using photo stacking effect, where you have two images, one with the object in focus and another with the background in focus. And to do that, in Photoshop you just need to do auto align and auto blend, and Photoshop will do everything for you. But this approach won't work as easy as that in Photopea. Well, first of all, you need to align these two images together. You need to select both beach and glass layers, go to Edit, Auto Align, but now if you'll try to do Auto Blend, nothing will happen. So to fix that, you need to remove one of the objects. For example, you can see that we have the glass in focus and part of the handle in focus, and you need to keep that pixels and then do the auto blend. So let's use the select and magic cut to do that trick. So to learn more how does it work, you need to check out project 4 description. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to select pixels that will stay on the image. Okay, so I want this handle and the glass to be selected. Okay, I don't need the background over here, so I'm going to mark it as red. So here you go, I have a very nice selection right now. I need to output that to a new layer, and that will preserve transparency. Okay, and now I need to select both glass and the beach layers and combine them together. Glass and beach, and select edit, auto blend. Alright, now you can see that we have blended very nicely background and foreground together. So you can compare it with just only the glass and the background, right? Looks very nice. Again, we had to do one more step, remove the background, but the result is pretty close to the Adobe Photoshop features. Next topic is removing objects using content-aware fill. In Photoshop, you can select which areas you would like to use for the content-aware fill. For example, if you would like to remove this stone over here, you can select area with the water, which means Photoshop will calculate part of the water and will replace that stone with the water. And again, we don't have that feature in Photopea, so which means we have to combine several tools together to achieve the same result. And let me show you how can we do that. Let's open the initial file, which is Japanese garden. I'm going to duplicate this layer just to save the background. Now, first thing I need to try is to use a regular content-aware fill to see what will happen. So I will need to select the object I want to remove. Then I go to Edit, Fill, Content Aware, OK. Alright, Photopea did a pretty good job, but we still have some parts of the rest of the image left inside our selection. Which means now we need to use something like Spot Healing Brush tool, adjust the size accordingly, and try to paint this area with this tool. Alright, so then we will paint this one and that one. And probably more. Right. Now I think we have very good result. You can compare before and after. Before and after. So all we have to do is to just do a couple more steps. But we have achieved the same result as in Photoshop. Here's the result in Photoshop. Here's our result. I think this is good enough. For the final project, we'll need to adjust perspective. And in Photoshop, we use a perspective warp, which is a very good tool to do dimensional warping of image. Again, we don't have that in Photopea. Instead, we can use free tools available. Let's open the initial project for the final file. It's a bridge start. As you can see, we have a train over here, and we need to put it on the rails. The train is a smart object, which means we'll be able to apply filters and transformations non-destructively. In order to fix that, I can try to use a number of different things, and I think I'll start with Edit, Transform, Perspective. Over here, I have handles. If you move the handle, it will move only horizontally, not vertically. To move this vertically, you need to hit Ctrl or Command for Windows or Mac, and that will move it vertically. And all you need to do is to align the very first wheel with the rail, and then adjust perspective by pressing Ctrl or Command if you use Mac, and align rear wheels with the rails. Okay, I think that looks good, except probably alright, maybe I need to align more. Okay, looks nicely, but now I can do something called warp. I can warp an image slightly. If you click here, warp, it will give you more handles. As you can see, the middle wheels are not aligned with the rail, so we can adjust it like that. Now all the wheels are almost aligned. Yeah, they are pretty close. And also I can adjust the top left handle a little bit to make it more natural, to get a feeling of perspective. Alright, looks good. After you completed the transformation, you need to click Confirm. And as you can see, we have pretty good result. Let's compare it with the result achieved in Photoshop. I think it's good enough. So thank you for your attention. I hope this tutorial was useful. As you can see, we can achieve the same effect as in Photoshop by using Photopea. And the results are pretty good. Thank you for your attention. I hope your lessons will go smoothly.